Ladies and gentlemen, there are things in this life we see and things we only feel, moments that pass like whispers in the wind, but leave an echo in the soul. You may think you walk through this world unnoticed. You may believe that the weight of your worries, the flicker of your insecurities, or the quiet strength you summon each day goes unseen. But I tell you now, it does not. Men, we are not always the best with words. We stumble, we hesitate, we fail to express what moves us. But that does not mean we do not notice. It does not mean we are blind to the details that make you extraordinary. Stay with me until the very end, because what I share today is not just about what men see, it is about the unseen beauty within you that you have long overlooked yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, there exists an unspoken language between people. It is not spoken aloud, nor is it written down, yet it lingers in the spaces between words, in the silence of a moment, in the energy that one carries. Some believe that only grand gestures and eloquent words are noticed, that what truly matters must be seen and heard in obvious ways. But life is not so simple. The truth is, what leaves the deepest impression is often invisible to the eye, yet profoundly felt by the soul. You walk into a room unaware of the quiet shift that occurs, the way the air changes, how people instinctively glance your way, not because of how you look, but because of something else, something more. It is not your dress, not your hair, not the color of your lips. It is the energy you bring, the presence you carry. A woman who knows herself, who walks with purpose rather than seeking approval, commands attention in a way that no words, no artificial charm, no forced beauty ever could. A presence is not built on perfection. It is woven through experiences, through the way you have carried yourself through pain, through laughter, through moments of uncertainty. It is in the way you stand, not necessarily tall, not necessarily poised, but assured, the quiet confidence that whispers, "I know who I am." This, above all else, is what people remember. It is not arrogance, nor is it detachment. It is simply a silent knowing, an inner strength that does not demand attention but receives it nonetheless. And there is something remarkable about those who are unaware of the power they hold. It is in the way they listen with intent rather than simply waiting for their turn to speak. It is in the way they remain present, unaffected by the noise of the world, comfortable in their own silence. Men notice this. They notice the way your energy fills a space, the way you can bring warmth to a conversation without effort. It is not about being the loudest voice in the room, nor is it about dimming yourself to make others comfortable. It is about balance, the quiet confidence of someone who does not need to prove herself, yet leaves an undeniable impression. Many spend their lives believing that attention is something to be chased, that if they speak louder, if they dress a certain way, if they mold themselves into something appealing, they will be seen. But true presence does not demand to be noticed. It simply is. It is in the way you meet someone's eyes without hesitation, in the way you remain unfazed in the face of judgment, in the way you carry yourself with an understanding that validation does not come from others, but from within. This is what is truly unforgettable. And yet, there are those who believe their worth is tied to an illusion of perfection. They hide the things they believe to be flaws, afraid that if they are seen too closely, they will be found lacking. They mask their imperfections, believing them to be weaknesses, when in truth they are the very things that make them extraordinary. There is beauty in the way you laugh, sometimes too loudly, sometimes in a way that makes you cover your mouth, as if you are afraid of taking up too much space. There is beauty in the way you fidget when you are nervous, in the way your eyes dart to the side when you are lost in thought. You do not notice these things, but someone does. Someone sees the way you tilt your head when you are truly listening, the way you absent-mindedly tuck your hair behind your ear, the way your hands move when you speak with passion. And what is more captivating than a person who is unfiltered, unpolished, unapologetically themselves? The world may have told you that only the flawless are admired, that only those who fit a certain mold are cherished. But what draws people in, what truly makes them stay, is not perfection, it is authenticity. Think of the moments when you have seen someone truly lost in what they love, the way their face lights up, the way they forget themselves in the midst of their excitement. It is contagious, it is magnetic, and yet so many hide these moments, afraid of being too much, of being too animated, too expressive, too raw. But men notice. They notice the way you light up when you talk about something that matters to you. They notice the way your expression softens when you are lost in thought. They notice the little things you dismiss as insignificant. Perhaps you have spent years trying to smooth out the edges of yourself, trying to fit into the world's expectations, believing that if you could just be a little less this, a little more that, you would finally be enough. But what if I told you that the very things you have tried to hide are the things that make you unforgettable? What if the quirks you wish away are the details that make someone stop, take notice, and feel something real? There is something profoundly beautiful about being human, about the imperfections that make each person unique, the lines around your eyes that deepen when you smile, the way your nose crinkles when you find something truly funny, the moments when you think no one is watching and you allow yourself to be completely, unapologetically you. These moments are not lost. They are seen, they are felt, they are remembered. So the next time you silence your laughter, the next time you shrink yourself to fit into an idea of what you think you should be, remember this. It is not the polished, practiced version of yourself that will leave an imprint on someone's heart. It is the real you. The one who stumbles over words sometimes, who gets lost in music, who laughs at all the wrong moments, but never holds back joy. And perhaps, in seeing yourself through this lens, you will realize that you were never unnoticed to begin with. There is a quiet power in moments of vulnerability, though the world may have told you otherwise. It may have taught you that strength is measured in silence, that to reveal too much of yourself is to invite weakness, that emotions must be carefully contained, controlled, hidden from view. But there is nothing more powerful, nothing more moving than witnessing someone unafraid to feel. There is a moment when a person speaks from the heart, when the walls come down, when the mask slips and something raw, something real is revealed. It is not rehearsed, it is not polished, it is simply true. And it is in these moments that something remarkable happens. There is a shift, a connection, an understanding that words alone could never create. Men notice this. They notice the way your voice softens when you speak of something that matters to you. They notice the quiet tremble in your hands when emotion rises, the way your eyes hold unshed tears, not as a sign of weakness, but as evidence of a heart that feels deeply. There is a beauty in this that cannot be imitated. There is a strength in it that no amount of detachment could ever match. You have been told to be strong, to hold yourself together, to not let the world see when something moves you. But true strength is not found in pretending to be unshaken. It is found in the moments when you allow yourself to be seen, when you stand in your truth, unguarded, unafraid. There is a difference between a person who numbs themselves to the world and one who embraces all that it brings. The joys, the sorrows, the victories, the losses. There is something magnetic about someone who does not run from emotion, but welcomes it, who allows themselves to feel everything fully, who is not ashamed of their humanity. When you speak of something that has shaped you, when your voice carries the weight of your experiences, when you let someone see you without the carefully crafted armor, that is when you are at your most powerful. Not when you pretend to be invulnerable, but when you show that strength is not the absence of emotion, it is the courage to express it. It is in these moments that people feel closest to you, that they see you not just as an idea, not just as an image, but as a living, breathing force, and that is unforgettable. There is something else, something just as powerful yet often overlooked. The way you carry yourself through the world, not just in how you speak, not just in what you say, but in the way you move, in the quiet confidence that exists in the spaces between words. There are those who enter a room and demand to be seen. They make themselves louder, bigger, more visible, believing that presence is something that must be forced. But the ones who truly captivate are those who do not chase attention yet receive it naturally. It is in the way they walk, not rushed, not hesitant, but assured. It is in the way they hold themselves, not as if seeking approval, but as if they already know their worth. Men notice this. They notice the way you step into a room, not because you announce yourself, but because your presence announces itself. The way you stand, the way you carry yourself, the way you move with quiet purpose. These things are felt before they are seen, before a single word is spoken. Confidence is not about perfection. It is not about having everything figured out, nor is it about proving anything to anyone. It is about an understanding, an unshakable belief that you belong, that you have nothing to prove, that you are enough as you are. It is not arrogance, nor is it indifference. It is something deeper, something quieter, something stronger. There is nothing more captivating than a person who moves through the world without fear of being seen, not because they are trying to be noticed, but because they are fully present, fully in their own space, fully at home in their own skin. And yet many walk through life as if they are apologizing for their existence. They shrink themselves, make themselves smaller, hesitate before speaking, doubt their place in the world. But there is nothing more freeing than stepping into your own presence without hesitation. There is nothing more powerful than knowing that you do not have to ask permission to take up space. You do not need to be the loudest voice in the room. You do not need to seek validation in the eyes of others. You simply need to own the space you stand in, to walk with the quiet certainty that you belong wherever you are. The way you carry yourself is a language of its own. It tells a story before you ever say a word. It reveals more about you than any conversation ever could. It is not something that can be faked, nor is it something that can be taught. It comes from within. It is built through experience, through self-awareness, through an understanding that you are not defined by the world's expectations, but by the truth of who you are. When you walk with purpose, when you carry yourself with quiet confidence, when you move through life with an assurance that is not dependent on the approval of others, that is when you become truly unforgettable. Because people may forget what you said, they may forget what you wore, but they will never forget how you made them feel. There is something extraordinary about witnessing a person lost in what they love. The way their eyes shift, the way their hands move, the way their voice changes ever so slightly when they speak about something that ignites a fire within them. Passion is not something that can be faked. It cannot be manufactured, nor can it be imitated. It is raw, unfiltered, and deeply magnetic. Men notice this. They notice the way you light up when you talk about a dream, the way your energy shifts when you are immersed in something that makes you feel alive. It is not the words themselves, not the topic of conversation, but the way you come alive in the telling. The world has enough indifference, enough passivity, enough people merely existing. But a person who loves, who dreams, who believes, this is someone who commands attention without ever needing to ask for it. There is something captivating about a mind that never stops searching, a soul that refuses to settle, the way you ask questions, the way you refuse to simply accept things as they are, the way you are constantly drawn to the unknown, to the possibilities beyond what is in front of you. Curiosity is a rare and beautiful thing, a quiet defiance against the monotony of life. It is what separates those who merely survive from those who truly live. There is no beauty in perfection, in someone who has all the answers, in someone who never questions, never wonders, never hungers for more. The most unforgettable people are the ones who never stop exploring, who never stop feeling excitement at the unknown, who never lose their ability to be fascinated by the world around them. To watch someone completely absorbed in something they love is to witness the purest form of authenticity. And yet there are those who hide this part of themselves, who believe that their interests, their passions, their dreams are unimportant, that no one cares, that they must tone down their enthusiasm, quiet their curiosity, shrink their love for things that may seem insignificant to the world. But the truth is, it is not the subject that matters. It is the feeling. It is the energy. It is the way you speak when you forget yourself, when you let go of self-consciousness and allow your emotions to take over. People notice when someone is fully present, fully immersed in what they are doing. The way an artist loses themselves in a brushstroke, the way a musician disappears into the sound, the way a writer forgets time itself when words flow freely. There is an undeniable magic in these moments, and those who witness them feel it just as deeply. Passion is contagious. It makes the mundane extraordinary. It transforms the ordinary into something that does not go unnoticed. The quiet strength of resilience, not the kind that shouts, not the kind that demands recognition, but the kind that exists in the silent moments. in the private battles fought behind closed doors, in the unwavering determination that does not ask for applause. Men notice this. They notice the way you carry yourself after disappointment, after heartbreak, after loss. They notice the way you continue forward, not because it is easy, not because you have all the answers, but because giving up is not in your nature. The world may not always see the weight you carry, the burdens you bear, the struggles you endure without complaint. But strength is not in the display. It is in the perseverance, in the refusal to be defeated, in the quiet decision, day after day, to keep going. There is nothing louder than the silence of someone who refuses to be broken. Nothing more powerful than the resilience of someone who has every reason to give up but never does. Not because they are fearless, not because they do not feel pain, but because they have learned that survival is not about avoiding hardship. It is about enduring it. There are those who believe that strength must be loud, that it must be seen, that it must be announced to the world, but true strength is often unnoticed. It is in the way you get up in the morning despite the weight in your chest. It is in the way you keep moving forward when your heart tells you to stop. It is in the way you choose hope even when despair seems easy. There is nothing more beautiful than a person who has been tested by life and still chooses to believe in something better, who still finds joy even in small things, who still opens their heart even after it has been broken, who still dreams even when reality has tried to convince them otherwise. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the refusal to let pain define you. It is the understanding that hardship is not the end of the story, that failure is not the final chapter, that suffering does not take away your ability to find meaning, to find love, to find purpose. People notice the way you rise after you fall, the way you continue despite everything, the way you refuse to let life harden you, to let it make you bitter, to let it steal the kindness in your heart. And there is nothing more extraordinary, nothing more unforgettable than a person who refuses to give up on themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me leave you with this. You are noticed. You are seen. The way you exist in this world, your light, your presence, your heart, it is not invisible. So the next time you think that no one notices the way your voice softens when you talk about what you love, or the way you fight battles in silence, remember this: someone does. And when the right person stands before you, he will not just notice, you will be unforgettable. Thank you.